Hey everyone, welcome to the next video. I've found a tech demo for you that's gonna blow your mind. It's called Cemetery Forgotten Churchyard, and it's made by Scans Factory. It's available for Unreal Engine on the Epic Marketplace. I've put the FPS counter up here, which isn't exactly stable, but obviously that's not the point here. It's not about blowing our minds with high FPS. This really is a tech demo where everything you see is actually running in Unreal Engine 5.1 using nanite, and the lumen lighting effect is being represented here as accurately as possible within a given area. What's important is that, as you can see in the graphics options, we're running at native 4K full screen with Epic settings. So I'd add that if it's running at around 30 to 35 frames per second on Epic, sometimes even a bit lower, especially now that recording is running, which doesn't help much. You can also adjust the scenery to notice the difference, or whether we should go during the day. First, I'll show you roughly what it looks like during the day, and then at night. At night, I think it looks absolutely stunning, but you'll see that for yourselves. Another important thing is that we're on Epic settings, and the difference between Epic and High is so significant. So you can see, I would go higher if I could, but Epic is the maximum. That the difference is about 30 to 35, close to 40 FPS, and of course it looks a bit better on Epic, but on High you get around 65. Running at 70 FPS without any recording, and on Epic settings at a native 4K resolution, the performance sits at about 32 to 35 FPS. So yes, it really eats up your system resources. I am currently recording this in 4K at 60 FPS, so if you have the chance, please watch it back on YouTube in 4K 60 FPS. You will honestly go crazy. The direct link will be provided down below in the video description. Definitely check it out for yourself and test your own system's capabilities. Alright, let's start the demo. I'm going to control it with a handheld controller to make the footage as smooth as humanly possible. Now just take a look at this lighting and everything, guys. Yeah, so the FPS isn't wrong up there for me. Without recording, it was sitting around 35 to 36 FPS, which is surprisingly not much more than with recording. Now, while recording, it's at 31, so on average, recording eats up about 5 to 6 FPS. But just look at this incredible photo geometry. I mean, right here, everything here is incredibly photorealistic. You might notice some slight flickering in the shadows, see? So, if you look much more closely here as I move around, you can see the shadows flicker like this. They have a kind of shimmer to them. This happens because the system is using a virtual shadow map, which is currently still in beta in Unreal Engine 5. You can achieve much nicer, much more detailed shadows with it and everything, but there are still some technical issues to resolve. That's why, for example, in my own game, the virtual shadow map is... So it works well in a lot of places, but in many others it doesn't. So I'm still deciding whether to render the game with the virtual shadow map or with the built-in normal shadowing, or whether I should build the game with that. And so I'll show you, I'll walk around a bit slowly so you can see what it looks like. And if you like this, then of course I'll show you what the whole thing looks like at night. So when you are out there in the dark, especially on such a dark map, you will start to go a little crazy. So just like this, now I want you to take a very close look. I will stop moving for a brief moment. Look at this ground right here. Look at this floor exactly as it is. This is precisely what I am talking about. So guys, I am telling you, in this form, it is completely photorealistic and made up of high-quality photo-scanned assets. By the way, the scans themselves, they actually have a professional scan like that, so they work with scanned items and assets. It is just absolutely incredible. Obviously, this is a very small map, but if you have a larger map like this, so looking at it in this form, you could totally imagine this being in a brand new Resident Evil game, right? Right, guys? I mean, honestly, this isn't bad at all. This is really not bad. Just take a good look at it. This is absolutely insane. It's just totally insane. Now, there are still one or two reflections here that are functioning as screen space reflections, because even a powerful machine like this one probably couldn't handle rendering everything in this specific form. So they had to make a very deliberate decision about that too, that, well, you see, not absolutely everything should be a lumen reflection, and not everything should be turned on all at once. And so because of this specific reason and because of these various things, a certain part of the reflections are not quite right. Well, as I see it, especially right here in this puddle, the reflection is, well, it is honestly a bit hard to tell for sure, especially since the water looks a bit murky and dark. But I really think they are using regular screen space reflections here too, not just lumen by itself, so that actually when you look closely at the details, it becomes much more apparent. so that they can actually save a little bit of money even on that part. And maybe the lumen system wouldn't have been as noticeable in this particular spot. So I guess that is exactly why they decided to stick with this specific solution. Right here we have our lamp, and its dynamic shadow is being cast over there, so it looks absolutely amazing. Just take a good look at it. It is really insane. That is why I am saying that the direct link for this will be provided in the description down here. Okay, if I can find it, then I will definitely post it. I will definitely make sure to drop the link in the description right here as soon as I possibly can. Yeah. So, the word ugly isn't really like this, right? By the way, I am playing with a controller on purpose right now so that I do not jerk the mouse around too much, and so you can see as much detail as possible from all of this, which looks absolutely amazing. And actually, we can say that the map isn't particularly big, but it is certainly big enough to be impressive and to showcase everything we need to see. So here is the outdoor area. From wide open spaces to detailed interiors, and even these slightly dark catacomb-like sections, it is all included in here, as you will see in just a moment. But just take a look at this. Even just focusing on the staircase, the sheer polygon count on this staircase is incredible. Look at the individual leaves on it and everything else. It is really quite impressive. And as I mentioned before, in this form, if you buy this asset pack, obviously I am not the one selling it. So this is not about me saying, oh my God, go buy it. But right here, for example, you can see from the reflections that this is lumen. Aha, so here the reflection is full lumen. Okay, so obviously this isn't about you having to buy this specific thing right now, but rather that there is such an incredible asset pack available, this church as it's called, which you can purchase for yourself. By the way, it's not even that terribly expensive at all. And just look at the sheer quality. Look at the amazing quality of the assets you get with it. And what you can build from it is absolutely brutal. It really is quite impressive when you see it in action. The background sound effects are already really impressive here, by the way. So as you can see, as the character walks through this environment and it's all muddy, that specific audio is also included in the asset pack, so it comes right with it. I'm telling you, everything you see here, from the tiny background sounds to the character, this fluid movement, the cinematic camera angles, and everything else, if you want to use this, it's all fully included. It is a comprehensive set of assets for any developer. In the asset pack, take a look. So the geometry here is really doing its job. And as I said, this is now on epic settings in 4K on an RTX 4090. And yes, while recording, but we have 4 to 35 frames per second. Everyone can decide for themselves how acceptable that is, but again, this is 4K. So now, if DLSS were enabled, then from the current 40 frames per second, we'd probably get around 48, maybe even 50 to 52, and then it could still be with frame generation, which we have in this form, we would already be at 80 to 90 frames per second. So there are ways to tweak this. I am mentioning this now because this is native 4K, and this is how it looks. The little mouse, well, actually, it is more like a rat. So here too, take a look at the lighting. It is really quite brutal. Without the lamp, and then with the lamp, and yes, as you can see, that is why I am saying that with virtual shadow maps, there is still a bit of a problem. Well, not a small one at all. So unfortunately, in this current form, it is still not entirely recommended for regular use, primarily because it causes significant flickering, much like these distracting flashes you see here. But even with those issues, this is just absolutely insane to witness. It looks incredibly good. Just check out this dynamic lighting here. As we slowly move toward the door, you can really see how the natural light filters into the room. The bounce light is particularly impressive as the warm orange light and everything else comes in to fill the space. It is really crazy. So, if you look closely, the map is actually this big, and right here it teleports you back. Basically, once you go in there, it teleports you back to the very beginning. But there is also a really cool feature where you can come over here, set the scenario, and change it to nighttime. Now, I personally like it much better at night, so just look at this. This is just completely insane. I will step back a little bit, and I won't move the camera at all, so just watch this. The quality here is just incredible. The graphics card is running at almost its absolute maximum capacity right now, but you can clearly see why. I mean, it is obvious why when you look at it. The lighting effects, the global illumination, it is just insane. Really, truly insane. Just look at it. Honestly, I could easily imagine this in a brand new Resident Evil game, just like this in this exact form. But then again, if you look at it, it is already a bit It is honestly a little bit overwhelming, isn't it? I mean, this really consumes a massive amount of your computer's processing power pretty badly, but you would be quite surprised because even though I only have 37 FPS right now, you can clearly see, even if I turn on another light, which as you know, dynamic shadows never really help the hardware at all, since they have to calculate so much extra stuff and all that, even now. I turn on a light and here I have 32 FPS and just look at how beautiful the image is. Absolutely everything looks incredibly stunning and high quality. Okay, so right now I am sitting at around 34 frames per second. I'm going to hit the escape key, navigate over to the graphics options menu, and change the preset from ultra down to high. So now that it is running on high settings, you can see that just like that, we instantly get a massive 25 frames per second boost. That is a really huge jump in performance. Of course, you might notice that the colors look a little bit different now. And sure, you can definitely tell that it is no longer running on ultra, so obviously there is a trade-off here. To be completely honest with you, I'd actually really like it if the vast majority of modern games looked exactly like this when running on high settings. I mean, really, I don't want to sound too picky or anything, but yeah, the visual quality is quite impressive. So looking at the performance here, our FPS has jumped up by almost 30 frames per second without encountering any technical issues at all. Yeah, it's performing great in this specific form, but I'll tell you in just a moment what specific graphical features might have been turned off to achieve this. I personally think that maybe when you switch over to the high preset, it actually disables the lumen lighting system itself. I'm honestly not entirely sure because the colors look a bit different overall in this view. And I guess with the reflections, especially right here where there was this church building, it seems like it might have turned off the reflection in this spot. Let's check that. No. So you can clearly see the lumen reflection is still there. No matter how I move the camera around, it doesn't disappear and it doesn't move away from there at all. So the lumen reflection is definitely still there. I'll just set it back to the original now, by the way, as I just wanted to show this specific detail to you. I just really wanted to take a moment to show you exactly how much of a massive difference this actually makes in the scene. You can see that everything still looks absolutely beautiful, and it is really quite nice to look at, so even like this, it looks great and all. But yeah, right here is where the shadows and the entire post-processing volume kind of snap into place at this specific point. And please don't judge the quality of the shadows too harshly right now, unfortunately, because yes, we are dealing with the virtual shadow maps, but still, just look at this ground. I mean, seriously, it is incredible. I'm literally just saying, this is clearly made for high-end films. So this is no longer intended for standard games at all. It's absolutely no coincidence that it's currently running at only 38 frames per second or 49 at the very best. So this really isn't designed for games like this. This is quite literally for film production. This is literally for professional film. The resolution is just that incredibly high. But honestly, this is exactly how it looks in real time. So the actual fact that what's crazy is that I've already gone through this once, and yet I'm still looking at it like it's unbelievable. The way it looks is just incredible, really mind-blowing. Obviously, this will be a short video, so I don't want to drag it out. I just wanted to show you that this demo, this tech demo, is available. And this asset pack you're seeing now, in this exact form, with this lighting, this map, and these assets, is live on the Epic Marketplace. It is now officially available for you to buy right now, and the great thing is that anyone can use it for any game, creative project, or really whatever they want to build without any issues at all, which I personally think is pretty awesome. At least in my opinion, I think it's totally brutal, but I don't know for sure, guys, so please let me know your honest opinions. What do you actually think about this asset pack? Do you like it in this current form? And also, I am very curious to hear what you think about what we have seen today, and if you would consider using it for your own work. I am doing this right now because if you do, please make sure to like the video. Also, I recently checked the analytics again. I think it was just yesterday or perhaps the day before, and it turns out that a staggering 50% of the people watching aren't subscribed to the channel, which I really appreciate, but at the same time, come on, that's not exactly the coolest thing ever. So please, if you can, please subscribe. It would help this little channel a lot so we can grow even more. And if you want to learn RL Engine, you can do so by simply clicking on the link for the video above me. I want to say thank you very much to everyone for being here today. Your support truly means the world to me, and I am so grateful for the time you have taken to join us. It is an honor to have such a wonderful group of people gathered here, and I appreciate every single one of you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you for your kindness and for making this moment so special.